to talk to you guys real quick about something you may be looking at doing. I'm going to actually do this trailer here, but not right now. And I know this will work because I've done tons of painting. I know what stuff's going to stick, what isn't, what's on there. You need to know what's on there to know what's going to stick to it. And anyway, but I'm going to talk to you guys real quick about what you do to paint your trailer. So the one thing you want to do is, how you check is a lot of people think that you have to use oil base on this for it to stick to this, or I don't know what their theory is. But if you look at the original finish that these are done with, even back in the early 2000s, I was using these products, and now most people know about them. But there's a product called DTM. It's a water-based DTM that they used on these panels, and that's what they used originally. So if it's water-based, it's on there. First of all, what you want to do is clean an area and do a sample. Always do this with every paint, but I believe you can use this. I know it's going to work. I'm not worried about it not sticking, but always do this anyway, because where you're at, you may not have this product exactly, but I highly recommend this one. I'll show you in a second. So here's the product I'm going to use on mine. Make sure I'm rolling here. Yeah, and it's Vista's ProTech Alkaline Emulsion. Now, Dunn Edwards has one, so if you're in an area where they have Dunn Edwards paints, but they don't have Vista paint because they're only in Southern California, Vista's, I know, has the best adhesion rate, so it sticks really good to just about anything. I've actually put this right over oil base and without sanding it, and it sticks on there like glue. You can't even get it off. Can't separate the two. So I know it's going to adhere to that for sure. But I'm going to talk to you real quick about preparation and what kind of sprayer to use and stuff like that in a second. But look for one of these alkaline emulsion paints. What it is basically it's a water-based paint that turns to an alkali when it dries. So what's cool about that is it's really hard finish. So if you ever wanted to repaint it and put like metallic finish or something like that on your motorhome or trailer, you could actually do that at a later date. I've actually done it. I actually sanded this stuff down lightly with a real fine paper. Don't use like 220 or something like that. Use like 320 or more or finer, and sand over it and actually paint it with a hard urethane if you want to after using this. You could use urethane on your trailer, but it's going to cost you a ton of money, and really to spray urethane outside, and not get overspray, it's not going to happen. You're probably going to want to have to take it to spray booth. That's going to cost you a lot of money, but this stuff you could actually spray, and within maybe, if there's no wind, within 20 feet or more, I'd go about 50 feet away. This product does float a little bit. It dries kind of a little slower than some of the other paints, and the overspray can stick. So be a little bit conscientious of overspray. Don't run your pressure up really super high and just figure everything's cool. That's the general rule of painting anyway, but a lot of people seem to not get that one. Hang on a second, let's go over prep. This is where a lot of people go wrong, is they over prep or under prep. Let me move over here, a little chainsaw noise. They over prep or under prep. And what you want to do is get some dish soap, because dish soap actually has it doesn't leave as much residue, and you can rinse it off, or you can use automotive soap if you're really wanting to go crazy, but dish soap works fine. And then use a Scotch-Brite pad and wash off all the chalked surface. If it's got any kind of residue on there, you just want to knock it down. You don't have to get it perfectly clean. You're painting it. So a lot of people, they go and they start scratching through the finish. You don't want to scratch through the finish. All you want to do is just remove the stuff off the surface so that the paint will have something to bite to, so it's not biting to dirt, it's biting to the other finish. It's going to stick to it, especially if you do a sample. And what you want to do is take your paint, go around, put a finger sample 4 or 5 places around the plate, and then try and scratch it off. If it's on there tight, then that's all the prep you need to do. Some people go around and they sit there and sand and sand and sand and sand, and they take everything off. That's where you overdo it. You just want to just clean off what's on there, the dirt, the grime, get it down to a firm surface. Use your Scotch-Brite pad and soap, and that's about all the prep you should need to do. Next thing you want to do is actually tape off your windows. I use a hand masker. You can even use newspaper to do that. But if you use newspaper, make sure there's little holes along the perforated edge, around the edge, and make sure you fill those holes in, because otherwise it'll blow right through those. Next thing you want to do is you're either going to want to buy or rent an airless. Make sure that you get a good size airless, 0.55 gallons per minute, or 0.5 gallons per minute, or half a gallon per minute, or more rig. So this is a Titan 440, old one. It works fine. This you can either use, and the tip size you're going to want to use is the key thing. You do not want to reduce your paint with water. Okay, so that's why I'm saying to get a decent sized spray rig. So like if you rent one from Home Depot, just make sure it's half a gallon a minute or more. Okay, because that will suck up paint straight out of the can. The other thing you're going to need is a tip, so a spray tip. The tip that comes on those is usually a 5/17. So you're going to want to get a, probably either a 311 or a 414 or a 414, 412. Write these down. Or a 413. Okay, 413 will spray that really nice. The ideal tip is a 414 if you're going for a really smooth finish. That's going to give you a fine finish. That's a fine finish tip. It's a double orifice tip. And make sure that you have a filter on your front. So if you look at my other videos, I have one on gun setup. I would highly recommend using a flat tip and a cone filter. The reason that is because if you get plug ups, you're going to forget where you're at, and then you're going to have gun mark in your spray. And I would not go with a high gloss. I would go with a satin, or not satin, but a semi-gloss, so you can come out with a real nice finish on it. And this is not the way. Like if you want that super high gloss clear coat look and all that stuff, okay, you're gonna have to get your wallet out, go down and buy the really expensive paint, get a bunch of clear coat, and it's gonna cost you over $1,000 for material. Well over $1,000, probably more like $2,000. So this is kind of the cheaper way, and make your motorhome or your trailer look really nice and last for a long time. I mean, out of that finish there, the product that I'm showing you, you could get 5 to 6, 7, 8 years or more out of your finish. So, it all depends on how you take care of it. If yours is out in the sun all the time, it might only last you 5 years. Okay, it might last 6 or 7. It might last 5 to 7 years. If it's covered up, it could last for many, many years to come, and you'd have a nice new looking trailer all the time when you go out camping. So anyway, use that 414, spray it out real nice. Don't blow off of your corners. Watch my other videos on how to control your overspray. If you don't know how to spray, use some common sense. You don't spray right around your neighbor's stuff. Go out somewhere where you're open, somewhere where you don't have, where you have at least 50 feet around you, and make sure there's not a lot of wind. If there's a lot of wind, just wait till the next day. Put the blue tape, use the blue tape to mask it, then you can wait a couple days if you need to get the right time. Don't wipe out your neighbor's stuff because, you told me I could do it, I didn't tell you. You do whatever you want. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to do with my trailer. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to paint it gray again. I'm going to use that Scotch-Brite prep technique, and I know 100% sure it will stick. So anyway, I will talk to you guys on the next video, and a little tip about trying to paint your motorhome. Talk to you in the next video.